Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video and welcome to round 11 of season 3 of our F125 My Team career mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here for the Dutch Grand Prix at Zandvoort, of course, the first race after the summer break, but we actually join you just before the summer break because the contract window has now opened. We've been talking to a few drivers behind the scenes. Alex Albon, he's been doing alright so far this season, but we are trying to make a real push for either Oscar Piastri or even Max Verstappen over a Red Bull at the future. Yes, I firmly believe the best way to kind of run inside this game is basically have one really good driver, and then obviously have a second driver that you race as most of the time. Obviously for us at the moment, that is Isaac Hadjar. So if we head over to Verstappen, we are still in talks with him. But Oscar Piastri then, how is he looking at the moment? So he wants $27 million and a signing on bonus of $3 million. We have just about got enough money for that. So we're going to try and send him a contract and see if he's happy about it.
Hopefully we'll hear back soon, but these things do tend to drag on. Let's keep our fingers crossed and just focus on what we can control. I'll let you know if I hear anything.
Yeah, so of course Oscar, one of the highest rated drivers up and down the grid. There you can see it's actually Charles Leclerc that's the highest rated right now, up at 97. So maybe we need to try and, get some interest his direction as well. They're of course reigning back-to-back world champion. There is Oscar, currently 90 rated, so identical with Alexander Albon as well there. And then, yeah, Ollie Behrman has actually approached us to try and talk, but honestly at the moment I've got no real interest in signing him as well there. Of course, if you're new, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed. A massive thank you to everybody for their continued support on the channel. We are getting very close to 150,000 subscribers. But yeah, without further ado then, let's return here to the Dutch Grand Prix.
Just look at that sea of orange. No surprises if I tell you we're here in Holland at Zandvoort for the Max Verstappen celebration party. It's a quick track and perfect for high speeds, high stakes qualifying. Welcome along to the Dutch Grand Prix qualifying day.
Well, I might have forgot to mention in the intro, but of course we are back at the reverse Zandvoort circuit inside F125. I just find it a much more fun track to race on inside this game. And with some changeable conditions this weekend, it could be a very exciting Grand Prix as well. But of course, yeah, we've made Q3 every single race so far this season, with the exception of last weekend out at Spa. But we would have made it into Q3, obviously, had we tried to, but with a fresh engine in the back of the wagon once again. I'm really hoping this weekend the car can come alive. Now, we are starting to get some Phase 4 upgrades through as well, so really hoping that we're going to be able to upgrade the car a little bit more and prepare ourselves for Season 4. Verstappen is still potentially eyeing up an opportunity to join us, but of course Red Bull this season, up towards the summer break, looked like they were giving him a car that can fight for championships. One thing I am struggling with this weekend, this car is for some reason incredibly understeery. And of course when I say understeery, I actually meant oversteery here. 5 minutes left on the clock then, by the time we've come back out ready to start another run. And yeah, we are going to have to manage that a little bit. I don't think it's going to be as much of a concern when we get into the race, because of course you're not pushing as hard. Look at that, almost 200 miles an hour on the way in towards turn 1. As always, this circuit, whether it's the normal way or this way around, is high speed, high commitment, but very easy to make a mistake. We did manage to set a purple time through sector 1, so let's see what we can do then through the rest of the lap there. Really try to avoid the wheel spin. This is in the lower gears there, the rear wheels really want to light up. But the car can be a little bit twitchy as well as we make our way up through the top of the circuit. Of course, hindsight is a beautiful thing, but maybe I needed just to up the ride height a little bit more here. Let's chucking the car down in towards the banking. Just a couple more corners to go there as we almost completely ruin the rest of our qualifying session. Huge nap of oversteer, but we keep the car pointing where we need it. Get the power down on the run back towards the line. That is going to be a 1:08.0. We go P5. Well, there we are then. Lando Norris fastest come the end of Q1. Just ahead of Esteban Ocon, Oscar Piastri there, and Andrea Kimi Antonelli. Brilliant effort in that Haas car. So 5 cars from 5 different teams making up your top 5. Looking like things are a little bit more mixed up here. Lance Stroll out in Q1 alongside Franco Colapinto. So that's going to be 2 big disappointments then. Jack Crawford, Zach O'Sullivan, and then both of those Audi cars all out. But yeah, a V car makes it through, a Haas car making it through. Maybe we are just starting to see a little bit of a shake-up towards the end of Season 3. Well, heading back out then onto our first run of Q2 circuit. There's a bit more sun beginning to shine around the track, so maybe some high temperatures will give us a little bit more grip here as we get ready to start our second run of anger. Need to make sure that we're down into the 107s this time. So we're going to try and use a little bit more battery through the first couple of corners. It's all about just believing the car can find the grip, leaving it in a high gear through some of these turns, and obviously really just trying to be high commitment. But of course, on the other hand, making sure we get a lap time on the board. I don't want to spend this weekend going through a bunch of front wings, but I am bottle job 212, so there's every possibility that's going to happen there. Nice and tidy. So try and get the power down. I mean, you're basically flat from there all the way down in towards the hairpin. It's a tremendous section of corners that you are just keeping your foot welded to the floor. Half a second up on the split of Liam Lawson. No idea what his overall lap time was. Is finally back on the anchors once again then in through these final few turns. That corner should be completely flat out there, just blending the throttle slightly. And then one more hairpin then to finish off the lap. This is going to be a much better run than what we did in Q1, I hope. It is going to be a 107.4, and to the top of the pile we go. Well, there we go then, some big shocks in Q2. We end up fastest, that's not too surprising inside this game. Carlos Sainz, though, second, just ahead of George Russell, but only one Red Bull has made it through there. Max Verstappen out in Q2, Oscar Piastri also out in that second session, so the 2 drivers that we are trying to call over towards Cadillac, both out by the end of that second qualifying. So Verstappen, he will be livid that he has not made it through at his home Grand Prix. And are we just seeing his championship hopes slip through his fingers? Alexander Albon, he's looking rather competitive. Maybe, just maybe, the car is getting there. Well, with a minute on the clock then, the team believe there is about another 10th to find around this circuit. But Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc, they are only a further 10th behind me here. So I'm expecting them to improve. We need to try and do the same. Let's just see how kind of refined we're trying to make that line through the final corner there. We did leave a little bit of ERS on the table last time, so hopefully there will be a little bit more, but we really need to try and bring out a sweat mode lap. The reverse Dutch Grand Prix there, like I said, it is high stakes. It is really high commitment, but we find just a little bit more through the first couple of corners. Attack the curb out of turn 4, and purple again, 2 tenths up by the time we get out of sector 1 there. Braking just at the start of the curb. Oh, I use that curb to rotate the front end through, and luckily able to gather it up on the exit there. Nice and tidy. Obviously where we went for a small spin in Q1. And then we're going to try and use the battery as we make our way up the hill there. Carry the speed up over the top of the circuit. Lando Norris now, 106.8. That is a rapid lap time by the Ferrari. Will we be able to go any quicker than that? At the moment, we're looking pretty close to that time. As long as I keep it clean and tidy through these final couple of corners, surely this is going to be a pole lap here for Cadillac in front of the Dutch crowd. Get the power down on the run towards the line. It is going to be a 106.7.
Yes,
that is
excellent
P1.
lap. We're all very pleased with that one. Nice work.
Well, there we go. As you would have heard on the radio, Mark very happy with that lap time as well then. But that is P1 by just a 10th of a second over the Ferrari cars here. Lando Norris, who of course beat me on the run to the line last weekend, will join me once again. George Russell there, brilliant effort in 4th ahead of those 2 McLaren cars. Esteban Ocon trying to fly the Red Bull flag, only down in P7. And hopefully Alex Albon is going to score more points this weekend. Let's see what lies ahead of us, though, as we head into the Dutch Grand Prix.
Welcome along then to the North Sea coast and to the Zandvoort circuit. We're 25 miles away from Amsterdam for today's Dutch Grand Prix. It's a race the great Jim Clark won on 4 occasions, leading for an astonishing total of 370 laps. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Isaac Hadjar lines up on pole position, edging out Lando Norris, who'll start from P2. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Russell, Yuki Tsunoda and Sainz, Ocon, Albon, Antonelli and Jack Doohan, Piastri, Lawson, Pierre Gasly and Behrman, Aaron, Stroll, Jack Crawford and Zach O'Sullivan, Bortoletto, Hulkenberg, Verstappen and Franco Colapinto rounds off the grid. Now it's almost time for lights out, so let's go down to the track.
We're still in with a chance of winning this title. We need you to push as hard as you can in the 5 remaining races.
Well, that is exactly what we've got our eye on at the moment. We want to try and make sure that we head to that season finale with a shot at the crown. Despite the fact we haven't won a race this year, we have been very, very consistent. Look at that, though. A small amount of rain anticipated later on in the afternoon. So I think it's going to be better to start on the medium tyre, just to open up the strategy a little bit more. Maybe we'll box for the wets, or the intermediates, I should say. Maybe we won't need to. But either way, it just opens up the doors. But trying to defend that run in towards turn 1 might be very, very tricky here. Getting ready on the grid then. Ferrari alongside and right behind us. It is 5 red lights for the Dutch Grand Prix. There's the lights out, and away we go. They're trying to avoid too much wheel spin there, as immediately Leclerc weaves this way, and that's trying to get a run alongside Lando Norris and I. We're still going to be side by side, though, with our fellow Brit as we make our way down in towards turn 1 and turn 2. But Lando, rather unsurprisingly there, makes the move happen. Can we have a look at the inside into the stadium? Not quite there, so unfortunately, I mean, the AI, of course, given the inside line into turn 1, and especially on those harder tyres, I knew it was going to be difficult to try and hang on to that lead at the start, but as I said, we're trying to play the bigger picture here. We are trying to play the long game and maybe open up some doors for ourselves later on in the afternoon. Of course, got to try and get the tyres up to temperature on lap 1. So just being very, very careful that we don't make any silly mistakes or anything like that, of course. Once we get onto lap 2, I'll ask Mark for a weather report, and hopefully, to be honest, I think I'm kind of hoping that he says the rain's still quite a while out, or there's nothing on the radar, because of course that'll mean that we on the mediums have a better chance. And Lando Norris on the softer compound here, as through the final corner we go. Let's try and see if we can stick as close as possible to him, as to be fair, Russell and Sainz, they're looking pretty racy. Antonelli's had a good start as well. Let's have a listen into the weather.
Okay, radar is clear, weather is looking good for now. Okay, dry seem like the best tyre for now.
That is a good sign then, so team don't see any rain on the radar. So that means we've got at least 15 minutes of safety. There we go,
Okay,
I think we've got Leclerc out of the range.
About 10 to 15 minutes from now.
And there we go, the team have now spotted that rain on the radar as well then. So the real question will be, will it arrive early enough for the AI that they're able to pit straight off their softer compound? Tyre wear's not bad round here, or better than it's been in previous years, but still not great. This is a circuit that, of course, gives the tyres no let-up, so we have got to manage them. Oh, Lando, big moment there. Can we capitalise? Come on. Let's see if we can get a run as we start lap 10 of this Grand Prix then. To the inside we will go of the Ferrari man, and I don't think Lando will want to go side by side through these cambered corners. No, he will not. So up then into the lead of the GP.
Nice work, mate. That brings you up a place.
Oh, that is exactly what we needed to do at this stage of the race. Nice and early on there. Lando Norris, just a small error. But I mean, look at already how much your top 8 are pulled away from everybody else. Verstappen, he's right down towards the back of the pack. So, I mean, yeah, for Lando and I, there might be a 25-point gap we can close in on the constructors. Yeah, we're really starting to see a transition now as the AI get closer and closer to their pit stops. I would have thought Lando will probably box in next lap. But Charles Leclerc's now actually made the move on him. So Lando Norris really, really struggling at this stage of the day. Leclerc now is probably going to try and hunt me down again. Like I said earlier on, Ferrari will try and split those cars a little bit, tell Lando to push early and get away, and tell Leclerc just to look after his tyres. This time round, it seems to have helped their golden boy. There we go, everybody else then into the pit lane. Lando Norris, Carlos Sainz, George Russell all diving in. So if Albon opts to go one lap longer, could be a 1-2 for our drivers. Is Albon in? Yeah, Albon's in as well. That's a bit of a shame. Bit of a great piece of Cadillac lore for you all. But yeah, we've just got to wait a couple more laps then. What are the teams saying about the rain?
Radar suggests some weather's going to hit in around 5 minutes' time, so stay on your toes. Dry's definitely seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
We will keep listening as to what's happening with that rain, because this strategy could win us the race this afternoon. Leclerc's gone hard compound tyres, so that's quite a big shock. But he's also getting held up behind the likes of Crawford, and I never thought I'd say this, but Max Verstappen are pit stop down in this race.
So push now, push.
Team on us into the pits now, but we are still trying to hang on these dry compound tyres there. They reckon the rain is pretty much going to start falling at any moment. But, of course, yeah, we're not quite at puncture territory just yet, but we are getting closer and closer to it. If we pit now, Leclerc, Sainz, Russell, they will all undercut us. So once again, just like we had to do in Spa, we are going all or nothing in this race. Oh, there we go. There we go. The rain has arrived here at Zandvoort, and we're really hoping that it's going to get a lot worse very, very quickly. So I'm pretty certain I've still, got those intermediates set up ready to go. At any moment is immediately the circuit beginning just to feel a little bit slip-slidey up around the top of the hill. Team are telling me to box, but I don't think that's for the intermediates. I don't believe we're ready yet. Surely we're not ready just yet.
Showing a clear patch on its way. There's about 10 more minutes of this rain. Okay, dries seem like the best tyre for now.
So they still reckon dries are the better way to go, but they also don't believe this rain is going to stay for very long. Often the crossover period is very, very early inside F1 25. That was kind of why I tried to gamble this. But, yeah, I mean, if the rain's only here for about 10 minutes, we might have to go to inters and then back to dries again before the end. Would the AI even bother?
The right tyres for the time being.
Oh, that's a good sign. Mark's already questioning whether these are the right tyre, and that normally means we're getting close to the transition. I don't know if it's a combination of dead tyres or a slippery track or a little bit of both, but already this circuit is beginning to feel just a little bit sketchy. Just one lap later on, we're starting to see a few more splotches on the screen. Problem is we can still get the car pretty much where we need it, but the pace is definitely falling off. I think we're going to take the gamble. Whoa! Oh, we're going to pit now, as we almost completely take ourselves out of the Grand Prix then, but this is a big strategy choice in this Grand Prix. It's these moments where championships can be won or lost. Also, make sure I get the car slowed down nicely into pit lane entry. I don't think we'll see the AI in just yet, so Leclerc is going to take the lead of the Grand Prix for the first time today. Come on, we need a good, clean, tidy pit stop team. 2.4 is not bad.
That was a fantastic stop, faster than we were expecting. Look after these tyres now. We want to finish the race on this compound.
So where are we going to come out? Right alongside one of the McLarens who tries to have a look around the outside there. Yuki Tsunoda trying to make that happen. Definitely not there, sunshine.
We're currently investigating.
No! That is something I hadn't thought about today. Imagine if we get a mechanical failure towards the end of this race. I feel like we're pretty much getting towards the crossover point between the dries and the wets. Please don't say we're going to have a mechanical failure here. I've still not had one. It's DRS.
Currently offline.
That's okay. I thought this was potentially going to be an engine blow-up, but looks like we've avoided it for now. As these tyres starting to get a little bit more grippy. Yeah, we have definitely made the right choice there. I think we boxed at the perfect time. It's just whether the AI will even bother. There we go, some of our backmarker cars into the pit lane. So surely we're going to see Leclerc in at the end of this very lap then. Have we just made the strategy choice to potentially win us this thing? Is everybody else into the pit lane? DRS has been disabled.
DRS is now disabled.
So we have nailed that call on the timing there. We're going to be back up into the lead then of the Grand Prix. This is critical. As Antonelli... Oh no, it's just because he's got one of the last boxes. I thought he was up to P2 in this race. I tell you what, if we lose this race because the AI are OP in the intermediate conditions, I'm going to be devastated here. 10 laps to go. The gap to George Russell, 10 seconds. He is going over a second a lap faster than me right now. But catching us is one thing, getting round us is another. What does the team believe the rain's doing as well?
So we're looking at another 5, maybe 10 minutes of this rain. Inters look like the best tyre for now.
So there's still the opportunity that it could go back to dries by the end. Obviously saw that last weekend out in Belgium. Could the same happen today? Well, we were the trendsetter then going over to the intermediates, and we absolutely nailed that. Are we going to be the one to nail the strategy back to dries? It has now stopped raining around this Zandvoort circuit. I think it's going to take at least one more lap. But we could see a switch back before the end. It's not a long pit lane here, so you can try and make back up the time. The gap to Russell down to 3 seconds. My biggest concern, of course, with the AI having traction control, if we all stay out on inters, I don't think I'm going to be able to hold up him and Leclerc anyway. Oh, we are just getting more and more wheel spin. We've got to go for it. We've got to get onto those dry compound tyres because Russell is just too fast behind me. There, is he into the pit lane? No, he's not. So this is a huge, huge gamble yet again. We nailed the strategy one way. Will we nail the strategy back the other way? 4 laps to go at this Grand Prix. We're kind of banking on the AI either completely shredding their inters, or, of course, yeah, just having the bots to dries as well.
Perfect job on the turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one.
A little bit of wheel spin on the initial launch, but we've done all right there as we get back out into the circuit. Definitely see how much time we've lost over that inter stint. Oh, as the circuit there definitely starting to get drier, but still not quite there yet. Maybe by the end of this lap we'll have reached the crossover, so we've just got to try and hang on. This is so frustrating. The team literally think we should be quicker than the AI right now. We are trying to push on towards the end of the afternoon, but I think once again, they said, you know, get onto the drive. They said it was going to be the tyre to be on towards the end of this GP, and it just doesn't look like that's going to be the case. In fact, we've lost time to Esteban Ocon over this last lap. I don't think we're going to be under too much pressure from Piastri. I just don't think there's going to be much opportunity for him to go for it. But how on earth can the game once again say that dries are the way to go and them still not be the right tyre? Oh, there we go. There we go. Finally, Antonelli into the pit lane. At least we're going to gain 1 spot back right towards the end of this race there. Not sure why it has have gone for this, but at least somebody has. Whatever I seem to do on this game, we seem destined not to be able to win inside F1 25. And again, I think honestly being a bit brutal, probably my fault today. You know, we can't trust the AI. We cannot trust the team for strategy inside this game. Is there any chance we're going to be able to take 5 seconds out of Ocon in this final lap? I don't think so, to be honest, but it looks like George Russell and Mercedes are going to see another new winner this season. But annoyingly, it's still not going to be Cadillac. Making our way in towards the final few corners, though. George Russell, what a driver it has been in that Mercedes. Finally, a weekend where they have looked competitive after a disappointing season so far. Russell out of the final corner. He will beat Ferrari to claim victory this weekend here at Circuit Park Zandvoort. Give it a couple more laps, I think we probably would have got at least back onto the podium, because the AI would have definitely had to pit. But through the final corner, a win has been completely thrown away today, yet again. It is only good enough for P7. That is devastating.
Here's the checkered flag. Here's our winner. By George, he's done it. Russell wins.
Yes, it absolutely was, and what an incredible victory and an important milestone for them as we head into the business end of the season. You know that that's really going to matter from a confidence perspective to get them to the end of the season with potentially even more of these victories.
Well, it's been a long wait for many of our drivers, but the wait is always worth it. Bring them out to the awaiting crowd. It's time for our podium celebrations. By George, he was good today. The top step awaits for George Russell.
Well, there we are then. George Russell claims victory here at the Dutch Grand Prix. 4 tenths ahead of Charles Leclerc. Lando Norris, a brilliant recovery ahead of those McLarens. Esteban Ocon in P6 ahead of myself. Piastri, Antonelli, and Alexander Albon rounding out your top 10. A very disappointing day for Max Verstappen, who, yeah, after a bad qualifying, took some penalties and really just made no progress up throughout most of the afternoon. Gabriel Bortoleto and Franco Colapinto, your 2 South Americans, both failing to see the checkered flag. But what does that do to our World Championship standings? Well, it does now mean Verstappen 3 ahead of Lando Norris as we head into the sharp end of this season. Charles Leclerc only 26 back. We could have been, what, less than 30 points away in the World Championship now, but once again, it is not meant to be. Tsunoda still kind of with an outside shot in P5, just ahead of Russell, who elevates himself up into 6th. Ocon, Sainz, Gasly, and Piastri rounding out your top 10. Albon, though, with some good points there, sadly loses out to Andrea, Kimi, Antonelli, thanks to the Italian having an even better race. And to be honest, Antonelli, unlucky, because he could have been, you know, up with Liam Lawson now in the point scoring as well. Constructors-wise, Ferrari, 76 clear of Red Bull. That one is looking like pretty much a done deal for their 3rd straight Constructors' Championship. We are now only 16 ahead of Mercedes after a good weekend for them, so we need to come back stronger. Thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we'll be back very soon ready for the Italian Grand Prix.